between page 10 and page 12. But right now, again, on page 1 here, they show you most of the commands that are covered in here. I'm not going over those right now. But we did the show databases. Then we went in and we created our own database, and we put in this information. All right. Then, so we did the create database if not exists. All right. I didn't show you this command, no pun intended. But if you look up on the screen here, please. Remember when we did the create database? All right. Oh, Southwind, sorry. I think we can say table, but we'll find out. Create table products. All right, everybody see what I just did? Because you got a whole bunch of output. I put in show create table products, and it showed me what I typed in to make that. All right, if I wanted to type in show create database Southwind, well, that was only one line, but it shows it to me. And you say, well, what's all this junk? Don't worry about it. It's all the default stuff. All right. So if I forget how I did something, I can do that. Sometimes what you find is people will actually take those commands and shoot them out to a file and use that as extra documentation. All right. Do you have to do that? Of course not, but you could if you wanted to. All right. We did the use command to make it active. We did a create table. I didn't show you this, but you can drop a table too. All right. So I'm not going to drop that table because it took some work to get all that information in there. But for instance, you don't have to do this. I'm going to say create table junk. I'm purposely just making it junk. All right. ID, int, primary key, auto increment, not null, etc. Field 1, int 10, not null. Field 2, char 2, not null. Field 3, varchar 25, not null. All right, so I created a new table, and I can describe that table, junk. There's the table I just created. I don't want it anymore. I can't just say drop junk. Why? Because drop is one of those DDL, data definition language commands. So I have to say, it's saying drop what? Drop table junk. Now it's gone. And this is sort of the question, Valerie, that you asked before. The only way I get it back is to type it in again. It does not save this in any kind of intermediate file. All right. Now, if I show tables, I still have my products, but that junk is gone. All right. And I don't know now if I say show create table junk. See, it doesn't even have that anymore because the table doesn't exist anymore. All right. So we went through that. I talked a little bit about what the different data types were. We did an insert into. In fact, you did several insert intos where you learned different ways of putting data into the table. So we went through a bunch of examples in that. All right. And then there was an explanation of the insert into. Then we went through a few select statements, including a select star and a select followed by just a couple of the field names. Then we looked at select without using a table. Then we did the comparison operators. I did a greater than or equal to. I asked you to do a less than. Okay? All right. We did the like. If there's a like, there's a not like. Right? So for instance, and you don't have to put this in, but if I say select star from products where product code like, I could say equal, I guess, equal, let's say like star, not star, percent sign, pen, percent sign. And that shows me my pens, correct? All right. Now I can also do this where I say not like pen, and it shows me all the pencils. But if I had pens and pencils and a bunch of other stuff, the not like would show me everything that wasn't pen. Does that make sense? So any of these commands that we did were like, between, you can use not with it as well, is if you want to, need to, have to. All right. So we looked a little bit at the arithmetic operators. All right. Plus, minus, multiply. Notice there's also div here, integer division. So if I do a div, if I do 7 divided by 2, it automatically gives me 3.5. All right, that's what I want. If I do 7 div 2, it gives me 3. It throws away its integer. It's integer division. It throws away any remainder. What's that? It doesn't round. You can round. We'll get into that too. They're talking about the built-in functions. All right. We didn't look at the and, so I want to quickly do that. All right. And that is, what if I want something that has pencil in it and, let's use pen. It has pen in it and its price is not $1.23. You with me? So I want the product code to be pen and I want the price to not be $1.23. All right. So I can say select star from products where product code equal pen and price not equal to 1.23. That should give me 2 of them back that are 1.25. All right. I could also, instead of and, I can use or. Whoops. What did I say? Not equal? Instead of the word and, I can use the word or here. Now, I'm not going to get anything different. I guess I am. Or the price is not $1.23. Notice it gave me the pens too. Or means only one of them has to be true. So you can use and, you can use or, and they even mention in the book, in your book, that there's something called XOR. You may or may not have heard of XOR. All right. So what if I do this? Age greater than 18. Program equal to AWD. All right. Hopefully, I'm right in saying this. That would mean every one of you in this room. You're all over 18, and you're all in this program. Okay? So if I said this and this, they both have to be true. If I said this or this, either one could be true, or they could both be true. But the one you probably haven't heard of is this one. If I say XOR, only one of them can be true, and the other one must be false. So exclusive, or both of them can be true. With an exclusive or, only one of them can be true. All right, so you can try those if you do want to. It's not used that often. Again, there's an in. The opposite would be not in. There's a between. The opposite is not between. I skipped this one. We don't have anything in here really that's null. Or maybe we do. Let's look. Select star from products. We put default values in for everything, so we don't have anything that's null. Would you agree with that? There's nothing here that's showing that's not null. But if we did allow nulls for something, and we'll get into that later, you don't say equal null. You can't do that. Because no one knows exactly how nulls are stored. So you can't say equal null. You have to say is null. Okay? Not that that's a big thing one way or the other. We did the order by in ascending and descending. I just showed you the limit. Let's look at, so this puts us up to the middle of page 11. Let's look at this alias that's right here. Please look up on your screen. I've decided, I just made this decision. I don't like these names. Where it's got product ID, I want that to be 2 words. Where it's got product code, I want that to be 2 words. I want the N in name capitalized. I want quantity to be QTY with a capital Q. And price, I want it to be a capital P. You with me? So I want to change those. All right. So I'm gonna say this: select product ID. Then I say as product ID. I'm going to line these up so it's easier for you to see what's going on. So product code, guess they're not going to line up anyway, as product code, name as, we'll just say product name. We'll be consistent here. So let's see if it worked. Whoops. Select that from products. Okay. So you can see how I changed the names. That's what alias does. It allows you to change your column names. This will work if I use single quotes or if I use double quotes. All right. That's usually the only time you use double quotes in here, even though I didn't. Back in older versions of MySQL, you had to use them. Why? I don't know. But I'm just showing you here with the alias how we can come through here and how we can change these. All right, so the alias is used. We'll use the alias in another way later, but right here I don't know if you agree with this or not, but really these names and these names, these are much clearer. Okay? All right. It's a good place to stop. Okay. What if my boss comes through and said, you know what I'd like to do is I'd like to see what it would look like if we combined the product code and the product name together. Do you understand what I'm saying? The boss says, she comes to me and says, I want these to be combined. So I want it to say pen hyphen pen red as an example. Okay. Now I can do this. I can say select product code, comma, product name from products. I can do that. Well, if I say products, I can do that. Okay, so what did I spell wrong? Product code, product name, select product. Oh, that's product ID, not code. No, product code, and its name. There we go. All right, so I can say, let me put there. I can do that. But that's 2 different fields. What if I want to see what they look like if they were combined into one field? Okay, so I can say this, select concat, which is a built-in function. So what I want is I want the product code, all right, and I want the product code followed by a space and a hyphen, followed by the name from products. All right, can you see what we changed? This is the example they give in the book on page 11. It's a kind of a crummy example, but I'll let you put that in, try it, make sure that it works. Okay? Does it make sense to you that if, look up on the screen if you would please here, if we had in here something along the lines of first name, last name, middle initial, we might want to use concat and put like last name, all right, space, first name, middle initial or something like that. That's how you typically use concat. All right? There's nothing wrong with the way they showed it, but it's probably not the way you'd normally use it. We didn't change the data. The select statement cannot change the data. We changed the way the data looks. So if we wanted to, we could have said select product ID, comma, then that concat, comma, oops, I'm going to get an error. So we could have said this, select product ID, all right, get rid of all that, comma, and then kept going. What else is in here? There's name, quantity, and product price. Name, quantity, and price from products. Now, see what we've changed? Also, look at the name it gave me. That's where you want to use aliasing. All right? So I'm going to come back and I'm going to redo this one. But here I'm going to say as, let's just call it combo name. It's kind of a dumb name, but we'll just call it that anyway. Okay? So there we've got combo name. All right? Now, two more things. First, if you look up on the screen here, we put in this record ourselves, correct? We put in this record. Don't type in what I'm about to tell you. Don't type it in, unless you want to remove everything and type it in again. If I typed in this right now, delete from products, because this is a mistake new people make. That says remove everything. If you use a delete, which is what I'm showing you now, or an update, which I'm about to show you, literally 100% of the time, you want a where clause. Because you don't want to delete everything or update everything. So I want to say, and normally, if I know that's my data, I could say I want to delete it where the name is pencil red or the quantity, etc. But when you're deleting things, you should always delete based on your primary key field, because that's unique. So I should say where product ID equal 1007. Now take a look at that. Make sure that syntax makes sense to you. Just so you know too, because some of you already probably found this out, I don't need spaces there. That'll work just fine, like that. If you want to put spaces in, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. All right, now if you look, it says one row affected. That's good because I told it to remove one row. So now if I come back and I select star from products, now that record's gone. Just so you know, technically, unless I manually put it in, which you never should do, that ID is now gone forever. If I put in a new record, it's going to be 1008. Does that make sense to you? Because if we put it in and use the auto increment, it already put in a 7. All right? So, last thing that we'll do. That's a stupid price. Somebody just came up with the price of that pencil. All right? And we know that it's product ID 6. So we want to say update products set price equal, let's just say it's going to be our most expensive pencil, $1. So we don't have to say 0.00, but we can. Now, again, don't put this in and hit enter. If I hit enter, what's it going to do? What? It's going to set all of them to $1. So again, when you use update, you'll want a where in there, where product ID equals 1006. If it comes back and it says one changed, one matched and one changed, that's good news. So again, if I do one more select, if I can spell select, star from products, now notice that's $1. Does that make sense before I take your question? Does that make sense? So that's the syntax for delete. Delete what from what, put a where in there. The last thing I'll tell you, because I want to take your question, what if I wanted to change two things on here? What if, oh no, that's not the right price. So what if I not only want to change the price, it was only supposed to be 50 cents. I can say set price equal to that, comma, and let's say instead of pencil HB, it was supposed to be pencil, I don't know, H3. So I could say name equal pencil H3, where product ID equal 1006. Again, one matched, one changed. And notice that's now 50 cents and that's changed. So I can change multiple things. I can change multiple things with an update. I can change multiple fields at one time if I want to. Go ahead.
So the reason it doesn't run, you can hit enter on that, but until you put semicolon is when it actually is going to like take it.
Yes. Now some of these commands, as an example, I think if I say describe products, yeah, that requires it. But if there's some of them, like if I were to say, for example, use music. See, I didn't have to hit the semicolon in there. But if I do, so if I go back to use Southwind, I don't need it. But if I say use Southwind with a semicolon, it never minds the semicolon being there. All right, so we've gone through about the first 10 and a half pages. Your job, I'm not going to say assignment, but your job is between now and Friday when we start to go back, take a look at everything that's in there, and if there's anything you had questions on, come and ask those at the beginning of class. But I'm going to pick it up with 2.6 on the bottom of page 11, all right? And at a minimum, next time, at a minimum, I'd like to get to page 17. Now you say, well, that's not much. We get farther, great. It's not my goal to just see how fast I can jam this stuff down your throats. I want you to also understand it. So again, please take a look at everything between pages 1 and 11 and a half. And if you want to get ahead a little bit, look at the stuff on pages 12 through 17. You have the rest of the period to look at that. I'm going to try to do this each time we're going through this is to give you at least a half an hour to an hour to practice. That's when you learn. All right? So that's all that I had.
I've done with programming, you have to stop both of the things before you close out of the control panel.
No, all you really have to do, that's a good question. I really should have said that. But the easiest way to get out is from your command line. You'll have to do it twice. Type in exit, and then type in exit again, and that totally gets you out of there. And that should get you back to. I don't remember if it needs a semicolon or not. I always put it in. And you'll still be probably at a DOS command prompt, so type in exit again. All right, if yours did, fine. When the easiest way, when you get to the control panel, you can just do quit. Yes.